Okay, so I often get asked, what do my kids read? And so I actually bought 2 baskets for my eldest 2, and I said, look, any book that you read, just stick them in here. But what I didn't realize was how many library books they read. And so a lot of times those have to be returned. And if I was to talk about every single book that they read, this would be a very long video. So all I have here is I'm going to start with my son's basket. And I'm just going to be showing you titles. If there's something that sticks out to me, I'll mention it. But for the most part, this isn't going to be a consistent video. I can't tell you what they read in a month. This will just be to the point where I'm like, okay, we need to clean out the basket, or we've got library books that need to be returned. But these are a lot of more of what he does, and they're just smaller. Oh, good job. Where was it?
Emma's room.
Aha.
She was trying to read it.
Okay, well, it needs to be returned. He found it. Okay, this is the book that my son read and really loved. Jasper and the Riddle of Riley's Mind. I don't remember where I saw this, but it had to do with the Klondike, the Klondike Gold Rush. And I think I was looking for stuff like that, and I requested it, but I forgot about it because sometimes the library requests take forever. And so this is actually one that I'm going to write down right now, because not only did my son really enjoy it, he got my daughter to want to read it too, but it has to be returned. Like, we have no more renewals. So that tells me this is probably one I need to invest in. Okay, so this one's Caroline Star Rose, Jasper, and the Riddle of Riley's Mind. And it's about the Klondike Gold Rush. So, and page reference, my son is almost 10 years old. And this was 275 pages, plus the afterword with more information on it. Okay, so some of the other books he read are these really shorter ones. This is kind of his more jive, what can be finished, and him move on and not try to remember where exactly he was when he jumps back into it. So we have Who Was Ernest Shackleton? Now, I've been house cleaning, and last month I talked about me reading the book, or listening to the audiobook of The Endurance, and he was with me a couple of times, and he was really interested in it as well. And I told him that we had this book on the shelf, Who Was Ernest Shackleton? And he read it and really enjoyed it too. So that was one that he did. Let's see. Encyclopedia Brown carries on. We love Encyclopedia Brown here. And they really are just really short books. We also have Nate the Great and the Snowy Trail. And Nate the Great and the Stolen Vase. Again, we love Nate the Great. And then we've got Roald Dahl, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I have to say that a lot of the Roald Dahls, I got like this huge box, and as I was going through it, I'm just like, no, we don't need that. I haven't read this one, but I am probably not as big of a fan as a lot of people out there with Roald Dahl. I didn't like the witches, I didn't like the finger, some of them, I'm just like, we don't need that. But this one does. My son has been really good about coming to me about content in books, and he didn't say anything with this one. So this one is probably okay. Okay, on for a little bit thicker reading. Okay, so he also really, really likes the 39 Clues, and I have been collecting them as I find them. And these are books 1, 3, and 4. I believe we have 6, 11, and another one. And they really have been enjoying these. And if I remember correctly, I'm literally taking this on my mom's recommendation, but if I remember correctly, they kind of follow some of like the arts in so far in their clues. So I think they had like a Mozart in there at one point, and some of the other things that my son has been telling me, I thought it was a really clever way to bring in some of the more the arts into this. Pretty much all I can tell you about these, except my son absolutely loves, as you can tell, detective stories, thrillers, and he really enjoyed these. So, but he also read both books of Sherlock Holmes. So now we've got The Great Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and we have The Extraordinary Cases of Sherlock Holmes. And he finished the second one that I got him, and he loves Sherlock Holmes. Okay, so I actually have 2 more books that my son read. They were on my desk because I had asked him to write a narration on them. And so the first one he has is A Tornado by Betsy Byers. It is like this minuscule bathroom read is what we call them, because quite often my kids will take them into the bathroom and finish them. So that one is like 26 pages. 49 pages. 49 pages. He really liked this one. He tends to like the books, the shorter books about dogs. And then the other one that he read was Henry Huggins by Beverly Cleary. Now, when he was reading it, he didn't want to put it down. However, when I asked him to write a narration on it, he couldn't tell me anything about it. I'm not taking that to mean that he doesn't like the series. I'm just saying that I don't know if he got as much out of this as he did with some of the other ones when he was telling me about them. But he really likes this. He asked me if I could get the other ones. I just don't know how well he is going to retain them. And all I have is that he really enjoyed them for you. So anyway, those were two other books that he has read. Now I can take them back to the library. So that's what my son read since giving him the basket. My daughter also reads a ton of library books, and she even gave me her little notebook. And so far for this year, because she started this notebook this year, she's read 169 books. She doesn't have dates on them, so I can't really say much more about it. Some of the books that she read and had to return to the library, she wrote down separately for me, but she read 4 American Girl books: Sprinkle Sundays Book 1, Sprinkle Sundays Book 2. She really liked those, if I remember correctly. They have to do with like a sweet shop, and she was telling me about those. The Canary Caper, I don't know anything about it. She didn't say anything. Vet Volunteers Fight for Life, meh, I don't know. Emma's Not So Sweet Dilemma, I think that also has to do with the sweet shop. I don't know if it has to do with Sprinkle Sundays or if Emma's sweet shop has to do with the ice cream shop or something. And then Katie's Sprinkled Secrets. So those are ones that she got from the library and read. And she is also, again, I cannot pre-read everything. My kids read so fast. And they have gotten to the age, again, I have an almost 11-year-old and almost 12 and an almost 10-year-old. And I can trust them now. You know, they'll be reading something and then they'll come to me and be like, okay, Mom, here's the situation. What do you think? And sometimes, even though I may not be like 100% comfortable with it, you know, maybe there's some attitude issues. I was like, oh, you know what? I really appreciate you coming with me about this. Okay, this is an attitude issue. We know we're not supposed to act like this. Please don't take this book and think that it's okay to act this way. And I will let them finish it. And then sometimes I'm like, I think we need a break from that kind of thing. And so we'll just set it away. Harry the Spy is one that we tried and I was done, I think, about 2 or 3 audio CDs into it. I was like, no, this is not one that I'm ready to do. I don't remember it being like that as a kid, but there was just a lot to deal with. There was some cussing, and of course, if I'm not reading it, I can't really edit it out. So that was that. Okay, so some of the other books that she read was, I have been finding American Girl. So she's got Kirsten on the Trail. Okay, there's like this huge stack. Kirsten on the Trail, Meet Kaya, Molly Saves the Day, Meet Felicity, Kit Learns a Lesson, Kit Saves the Day, Meet Kit, Addie Saves the Day, Josephina Saves the Day, Secrets of the Attic. This is the Magic Attic Girls. They go into the attic, they find stuff to do, and they end up having different adventures. Meet Samantha, Changes for Samantha, Heather at the Bar. This is another Magic Attic book. I grew up on these as a kid. And then Kit's Surprise.
Honestly, of all of the American Girl books, Molly seems to have a lot of the attitude issues, and Felicity does seem to kind of dance a little bit on that. I really liked Kirsten. Addie was always my favorite. I just love Black America history and Black Americans. I just think they're so beautiful, guys. And then Kit was another one really favorite of mine. Josephina, I don't really remember much about. So that's my thought on those.
Okay, and then I got her the War I Finally Won. Well, I didn't get it for her. I got it for us. We loved The War That Saved My Life. And I got The War That Finally Won. I read this one. Again, it's a pretty hefty one. She's got like 6 or 7 hefty ones going on right now. So, and then some of the other ones she did was the Nancy Drew Clue books. She didn't say anything about this to me, so they were probably just meh, ho-hum, twaddle. Misty Inn, Welcome Home by Kirsten Earhart. She kept saying, oh, Mom, this is so good. So this is pretty much all I can tell you. It has to do with Chincoteague Island, and I told her she would probably get most out of this if she read Misty of Chincoteague. So I think she's reading that one right now. But the one that I kept hearing so much about these last few weeks was The Midnight Rider by Joan Hyatt Harlow. We have another one of her books, Star and the Storm, which is, I think, a dog in Canada. It's been a while since I looked at it. Well, here she is. She can tell you a little bit. Tell how wonderful it was.
It was good. So it's about a girl who lives with her aunt because her mom and dad die from a sickness, and then her aunt sells one of her favorite horses, and because she's all about money and stuff, and then when Hannah finds out, which is the girl, she starts playing with him and at the other person's house. And then what happened was when she came back, her Aunt Phoebe found out, and then she sent her to the province house.
Provinces? Okay, she sent her to a house.
And so that's where she's gonna work first and learn for 7 years, but then her aunt gets married.
Apprentices?
No.
Okay.
No. And then she meets a boy named Caleb and another horse. And then the person that owned the horse came to...
The house?
No, it was Boston. No. I think it was somewhere around Boston.
Okay.
And then they're planning to tell everybody that because there's a king in there, and they're because she cleans and then she listens to their conversations, and then what happens was she tells everybody, and then she gets sent away after she tells, because then they figure out it was her. Well, they think it was Will. But then she said she did it. She didn't want Will to get hurt.
Okay.
So, and that was how it ended. She lived with her friend because her aunt moved after she got married.
There's the next book. And you get the first couple chapters. So I looked at the page number on this. It's almost 400 pages.
Yeah.
So that's how much you enjoyed.
3 weeks.
So, anyway, that's what I was going to share with you. Those are the books that they read. Now I'm going to empty out these baskets, and next time they're filled up or we need to go to the library, then I'll share with you the next video. So there's no consistency. I can't tell you when they'll be out. We just thought we would share with you because I do get asked a lot. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have another cup of coffee or tea, Earl Grey, and read another chapter.